I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast, Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip. And today we are talking about episodes 7 through 9 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean.
Yeah, we're starting with episode 7. There's 6 of us!
There's 6 of us!
The episode titles of part 6 are pretty funny to me. Because sometimes it's not even like something about the stand they're fighting. It's just a weird exclamation or something.
We gotta do a head count, everybody. Come on.
Yeah. So we start off with a short recap of the past few episodes of just kind of, establishing what happened to Jotaro, Jolyne's motivation, Ermes getting a stand, and, the discs and all that stuff.
All the high-level stuff of the previous 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then Emporio reports to Jolyne on the lore from the previous episode.
Yes, informing her about the discs and all that. One little thing that happened that we didn't see in the previous episode is when McQueen is defeated and, dead from electrocuting himself. Ermes takes the memory disc that popped out of his head and slotted it back in, and he came back to life. His eyes just went boop. So now Emporio is very sure that, hey, if we can get these 2 discs back from Whitesnake, Jotaro can come back to life.
Yeah.
And he's been tucking all these big CDs away in his pants for safekeeping. And he hands over the McQueen's memory disc over to Jolyne so she can watch the memories on there and maybe find some clues. And
the plan is to give that back to him eventually, when they're done with it.
And
not giving him the stand disc back, though. That's a little too dangerous.
Yeah, we're going to keep that wherever Emporio lives in the prison. He's just going to use that as a coaster or something. No one needs that stand. It's a bad stand.
It's a bad stand.
It's a really bad stand.
It's really bad for the user, too. Nobody wants that stand. So Jolyne slots the memory stand in her head to scrub through the Whitesnake footage. Looking for clues. But meanwhile, crocodile.
Like it's nighttime, a little spooky looking, and the camera's panning over farmland that is attached to the prison where they make the prisoners work. And there's a barn there where 2 prisoners are working, and they are both utterly terrified.
Big old tractor shed, freaking out. We're just hard into horror movie territory with these 2 dudes freaking out. They're trying to close the big shed door behind them, and they're both pushing and shouting at each other, "You gotta push harder, you gotta push harder." And then one guy freaks out because there are detached arms there, bro, you lost your arms. And the other guy turns around and says, "Bro, those aren't my arms." And it's the first guy's arms.
Verbatim, he says, "Bro, those aren't my arms."
And so the armless guy, who didn't realize he was the armless guy at first, gets grabbed by a big goo mass. This is a very gooey part of JoJo.
It is.
Everything's gooey.
A giant mass of writhing black goo from the X-Files grabs this dude and pulls him through the little gap still open in the big metal door. And we briefly get a look at a weird face.
Yeah, there's some sort of slug monster in this goo mass.
Yeah, and before the other guy can do anything, he's just on the ground, terrified. He also gets scooped up by the goo and pulled into the back of the barn. And they are they're dead. They're
definitely dead.
They're extremely dead.
It will be confirmed later as if we need it.
Yeah.
But now it is time for the OP. Love it. It's great. I really like this song, actually.
It's a really good one.
It didn't need to grow on me, but it still has, right? Yeah. So it's the next day. The sun is shining, and everybody is out in the yard while Loco, Rococo, Mojo Jojo, and Charlotte are leading an assembly out in the yard with all of the women.
With his awful falsetto voice when he's talking through the puppet Charlotte. Just all of a sudden, 2 prisoners vanished without a trace. Some of you fuckers gotta go find them. Did they drown?
This is not the vibe. You're not taking this search party seriously. Also, your name has too many syllables. I don't know when to stop talking when I try to talk about this tiny little freak.
Yeah.
This prison, the whole assembly of prisoners. Why do they even have a uniform in this place? Like, this just looks like a mall. You're at the mall.
Yeah. I love, like, okay, some people, like Ermes, straight up are not wearing the uniform at all. Some of the other women are wearing uniforms, but they've modified them to their own tastes.
It seems like the only thing that's required is you get like an iron-on applique for the prison logo to go on the back of your outermost layer, whatever it is.
Yeah.
As long as you're labeled, anything goes.
So yeah, Mr. Loco Rococo, or whatever the fuck his name is going on about this with Charlotte, and Jolyne is fed up with this, just kind of mumbles, just like maybe they got fucking eaten by a crocodile dick, and he's just like, who the fuck said that? And so the prison is putting together a search party. They're going to force about 5 or so prisoners to go out and search for these 2 missing guys.
I do enjoy how offended Charlotte gets at the implication that she, the puppet, ate the prisoners.
Yeah.
Her diet is criminal free, thank you. And she holds that word for like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
No such thing. My diet is criminal free. Thank you.
So yeah, they're assembling a search party. There is absolutely nothing in it for you other than, I don't know, something new to do today. There's no like cash reward or time off sentence or anything.
Get to stretch your legs, I guess. It looks like a nice day out, so I don't know.
It does look like a really nice day out.
It's got like those golden wind style wispy clouds out today, and that just seems pleasant.
But Jolyne raises her hand and Hermes follows suit. And Gwess is just like, what? Nope. I got shit to do, and it's not this.
Yeah. And this is when a different prison warden, who we'll get a little more familiar with throughout this episode, introduces how they're going to keep all these ladies on a leash. Time to put on the specially branded wrist buckles called Like a Virgin's.
Also known as invisible bars.
Yeah.
You should have said that the other way around. You should.
Yeah. The official name, Like a Virgin's. These are bomb cuffs. If you like try to do anything to tamper with them, they will blow up. If you are more than 50 meters away from this prison warden, who is also wearing a similar style cuff, you will explode.
Yes. It's like a bomb collar, but for your hand.
Yeah.
And I guess the idea is that it just blows your hand off. You are dismembered, and that is the threat.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're allowed to kill you in prison. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to.
Yeah, I don't think they would be explicitly designed to straight up just blow your whole ass up, just your hand. And he even says, sure would suck to wipe your ass if you're missing a hand.
I guess he's not wrong.
Yeah.
So it's time to set out. The search party is Jolyne. It's Hermes. It's 3 silhouettes.
Yes.
And they chase the ATV to keep up and not be exploded.
Yeah, this dude's driving on a weird ATV 4x4 thing. So yeah, they have to sprint to keep up with him. This guy is delighted to fuck with these ladies and constantly have them on the verge of exploding all of their hands.
But as we see this group of 5 from behind running after the ATV, the 3 unnamed ones do get colors and design finally.
Yeah. So he's shouting orders at all of them to, spread out and search different areas. And so Jolyne and Ermes kind of team up to search different areas, check out like an old shed. And
have the chance to like talk about the plan and what they're doing. Why did you raise your hand? What's the angle here, Jolyne? So I just have written here, disc smelly. Why did I write that in my notes?
Oh, yes. Ermes is asking Jolyne, like, hey, I looked at McQueen's memory disk, but did you see anything new or different when you stuck it in your head? And she mentions she hates putting other people's memory disks in her head, or at least the one she has done that with, because it makes her smell a really weird bad smell when it's in her head. Disc smell.
Cool. So we see what it looks like when Jolyne searches through the disc, and it looks like she got killed by Xena, with this disc stuck in her forehead.
Yeah, spinning very quickly. Yeah, she could have got shot by that one disc throwing gun from Unreal Tournament. Yeah, so we are seeing, or rather, when Jolyne has this disc in her head, she sees the memory of McQueen's meetings with Whitesnake. Mm-hmm. And he's very clearly in the same tractor shed from earlier in the episode.
Yes. And he's got a great big stash of discs in there. One of them was Highway to Hell, of course. And so this is the memory of him receiving his stand. But hey, if that's the big stash of discs, that's somewhere on the farm. Mm-hmm. I'm looking, because that's probably where Star Platinum is. We need that. We got to find it.
Mm-hmm. And like Ermes didn't notice that clue of like the stash of discs, because it's like a blink and you miss it thing, because it's when Whitesnake is pushing the stand disc into McQueen's head, there's like just a very brief reflection on the disc of the tractor like behind them. And Ermes is just like, so the whole reason you're doing this is to save your dad's life, and then Jolyne immediately gets embarrassed.
Oh no, nobody could know I'd rather have my dad be alive than dead. Oh no.
No, but my dad sucks.
So, meanwhile, this guard that is never named.
Yeah.
I think Loco Rococo is the only guard so far that's been named.
Yep. Even though a lot of the guards we've seen do recur, because they're all freaks.
Yeah.
You can't forget all of their messed up skull shapes.
We got another one coming. But this shockingly regular man-looking guard spots some gator poop, and instead of thinking, a clue to find, I don't know, maybe an arm or a foot or something and close this case, he thinks, I can do pranks.
Yes, because like Ermes sasses back at him or something, and tries to act like she didn't say anything. And yes, time to get revenge. He swings at Ermes with his nightstick and deliberately whacks her bomb cuff real hard, and it starts beeping rapidly like you're about to die.
Quote, oopsie, it was a coincidence. My baton was swinging at the same spot as your wrist.
Yeah.
What a coinkydink.
And Ermes is like begging him, like, please God, turn the wrist off. Turn the wrist bomb off, please. This sucks.
Please.
Why is it beeping so much? And this is when he like claps his hands real loud and like trips her, makes her fall right about to fall onto the gator poop.
This is such an elaborate trick.
It is!
And it all hinges on her losing her balance in this precise way. It's not a good trick.
No. And maybe one of the funniest instances of a JoJo episode playing the JoJo's about to kick ass music theme. Is it plays for like the 3 bars required for Jolyne to shoot out a thread, grab a big leaf, and cover up the poop with the leaf so that Ermes doesn't get poop on her.
She not only doesn't get poop on her, but the force of her landing on it squelches the poop out, like, and so it shoots onto the guard. Ha ha ha!
Ah, gotcha. It's some Stardust Crusaders shit with the poop. Feel like JoJo's been pretty poop free for a while.
So Jolyne then is all like sweet and conciliatory toward the guard, so they can just like get on their way and find the garage where the tractor is. But a pair of our anonymous searchers got there first and think it is stupid to look in this big shack.
Yeah.
It's such an obvious hiding place for these guys. There's no way they're in there. Let's not even try.
Yeah. And so when they leave, Jolyne and Ermes just run right in there, and it's just like, oh fuck, we immediately found the disc stash.
They see the tractor number 4, so it's the one from the memory. And it is time for a stone-free title card. We've reached the mid-episode. Hooray!
All right.
So as soon as they find the tractor, the guard is like, okay, we're done looking around here. We're going to go wade through the marshes.
Yeah, he's forcing all of them to go into the swamp water. And, that sucks, because if he gets too far away, they're going to blow up before they can look for the disc. And this is when we get like a bit of a closer look at all the ladies here.
Yeah. We got Undercut, we got Ponytail, and we got the lady with the unfortunate tan.
Yeah.
How do you get tan lines on your face like that? Like, it looks like she goes outside with a Jesus fish on her face or something.
Yeah, a big one right down the middle of her face. Absolutely. Wrapping around her nose and mouth. I was trying to think of how to describe that shape, but yeah, it's just a Jesus fish.
Or maybe like the alchemical symbol for Taurus.
Yeah, that works too.
The loop is around her mouth area, and then the two like horns up top go over her eyes, and that is a lighter color tan than like her cheeks in the middle of her forehead. It's very strange.
It's very weird. Is it a birthmark? I don't know.
I don't know.
The guard is just driving away, and all the girls are just like kind of gathering up and going like, man, this sucks. And then Jolyne
is trying to change a tire in record time before like her hand explodes.
Yeah. And this is when Ermes starts like sweating and going like, something is really weird and off here. And Jolene's just like, yeah, this is all fucking weird. And Ermes goes, no. There were 5 people in our group, right? Well, there's 6 of us.
I know how to count to 6. It's how many fingers I have sometimes.
And yes, there are indeed 6 women in the search party now, even though we started with 5. But Ermes isn't really sure which one is the new lady because she just did not pay attention to any of their faces until now.
And everybody is wearing a like a virgin, so like the obvious tell isn't a tell.
Yeah. And then this is when another one of the ladies in the group notices, wait, there's 6 of us.
Yeah, that's Lime Cat.
Yes.
Yes.
It's Lime Cat. God damn it. Oh, I haven't thought about Lime Cat in a while. Yes, there is a lady in this group wearing just like...
She's the only one of these other searchers that gets a name. Her name is Atro, and she can also count to 6. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. She joined the search party because her prison bullies didn't, and so it was a chance to get away for the day.
She does look very sad every time you see her.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, this lady is wearing just like blue coveralls, and yeah, her hair looks like a big lime slice was cut into the shape of anime hair and just put on top of her head.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Peachish bright orange lipstick. And this is when, oh shit, everyone's cuffs start beeping.
Yeah. You think a logic puzzle is about to break out, but there's no time. They all start freaking out, and they notice that the guard is gone, and his bike is sinking down into the marsh.
And they walk closer to it, and it is just completely painted in blood.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then our one named prisoner, poor little Atro, Lime Cat herself, explodes.
And hey, so you know how those bomb cuffs are meant to blow up your hand? Her entire body gibbs.
Yeah, it looks like she's completely gone from the knees up.
Yeah. And it's like a balloon filled with blood exploded. like that was it the movie, the Weird Al movie UHF, where that guy at the start has his head explode? It looks like that. And like, yeah, her legs are just there and they're smoking, and her hands and other parts are just kind of floating back up to the surface of the water. And oh, hey, there's the guard's body way over there. Mm-hmm.
So like the trio of unnamed prisoners goes over to him. Ermes starts thinking about who the killer could be. She's pretty sure that Undercut wasn't there with him in the beginning.
By the way, Undercut here, she's got one really weird trait. Her eyes are just a very shiny black. She has no whites of her eyes. She put in weird monster movie lenses on.
She got the Pulpo eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jolyne has played werewolf before, and she's not ready to reveal her hand just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of frustration, Ermes kicks a bucket, which makes a gurgle noise.
Like at the same time, Jolene's trying to like figure out, okay, it can't be Undercut, because wouldn't she just still be trying to guard the barn right now? So, I mean, she would also explode if she tried to do that, but we got a gurgling bucket we got to pay more attention to now.
Like, I think it is, of course, like reductive and even lazy to be like, oh, wow, look at all this weird stuff. How do you think of this? What were you on? But like the constant paranoia, though,
yeah.
That feels like, yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at a bucket and think, that thing could murder me, that's That is not someone in like an unaltered mind space.
Yeah. Now, if Jotaro did that, I would not question that because he's been around so fucking long. He knows basically anything could kill you at any time. And if there's
How
a stand
is he
involved.
so calm?
Right? It's all the marine biology that centers him.
Yeah, that's why he's always going out into the ocean. He can just like be overwhelmed by the size of it all and really focus and center himself.
It's very calming. Wouldn't you believe it? But Jotaro is way into meditation now.
So Jolyne wonders about their next move just long enough for Ermes to be kidnapped by a bucket and dragged down under the marsh.
Like her head is stuck inside this bucket, and she just is thinking, "What the fuck is in this bucket?" And that's when weird little guys show up.
Yeah, like teeny tiny versions of the great big slug monster that ate those two guys.
Yeah.
And then it multiplies. It's 2 of them, and then it's 4 of them.
And then she looks like deeper into the bucket, notices the whole bottom of the bucket is just coated with like thousands of these little guys.
It's just like a slime mold colony of stands.
Yeah. And then this is when you notice that, like, hey, the outside of the bucket has like a weird slime in the form of hands, like holding the bucket down on her head.
So she stickers the bucket apart and to free her head. But there is this slug colony wrapped around her neck as she shouts out to Jolyne.
Mm-hmm. At this point, Jolyne sees that Ermes is being dragged across the surface of the water by this weird slug monster thing, and it's just in a completely humanoid form now. And this is when Jolyne does a pretty cool thing. It's like, hey, the water is really dangerous. Don't go in there. And so Jolyne shoots thread out of all 5 of her fingertips on her right hand and like has it wrap around one tree branch and then extend out towards one like in the middle of the marsh, and uses that to like create a little thread bridge for herself to run across.
Yeah, she basically knits a strap to run along over the water.
Yeah. And this is when we've seen this in action before, but this is like the first time the rule is like stated. So when Jolyne uses lots of thread, holes start tearing open all across her body where you can see the string underneath her skin. The more thread she uses, the more her own body like gets used up as thread. And so if she uses too much thread, she can hurt herself or die.
Or do some other things that we're about to see. But
yeah, because
she's running along at top speed. She jumps off of her suspended strap to deliver a double flying punch.
It looks really cool.
It looks pretty cool.
But this stand blocks the punch and then punches clean through Jolene's gut. Except not.
Because she didn't have a gut there. Ha ha ha. JoJo's trick.
JoJo's trick. She made such a large hole from using so much thread that her stomach is just a void.
It's just a socket to grip around this stand's forearm and hold it in place.
So this is when she's able to get in a big kick against this guy's head and then
she kicks this thing's face off.
Yeah, and then punch rush it. And she notices when she does the big punch rush, one of the 3 ladies, like, on the side of the marsh, just fucking collapses and dies. Mm-hmm. It's a very different stand design from normal, I would say, though.
Okay, so this thing looks like it comes from X-Men Evolution.
Yes!
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got robot legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's very... like, it's actually got, like, differential gears for hips. And or maybe it looks like a mid-2000s Transformers cartoon, but it definitely has mid-2000s, like, Fox Kids energy.
Yeah, it's definitely like that kind of skinny, sleek, like, black and gold color scheme that I feel like you saw a decent amount. It does feel a little, like, mid-2000s Transformer design just because of how, like, kind of skinny it is. It doesn't have a stomach. It just has a big metal pole, like spinal column that goes up where its upper torso is just kind of stuck onto it. It's basically got the same head as the little the little weird
as the little shrimp
guys.
version of itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got cinnamon bun eyes, which are very fun.
Oh yeah, those are pretty good.
Sort of steel cable strips that define its face, like one going over the cheeks up to the skull on each side, and one on the center line, and that one turns into something between a ponytail and a satellite dish.
Yeah.
Is great. It's got human teeth, which is fun.
Yes. And its legs, like from the hips down, it's just like black skinny legs, but once you get to the knees, it's like more exposed, like metal, like ball joints with just two rods sticking out,
and big
form the
gold
legs.
buckle shoes.
Yeah,
I like this guy. This is a good guy.
It's one of the more unique stand designs we've seen, while still being a humanoid stand. But yeah, this one, like, especially compared to like Kiss, you know, this one's design isn't crazy busy because it's really only has like 3 colors, just silver, black, and a accent color of gold. But yeah, it's cool looking. I like it.
So Jolyne, after kicking all of the face parts off of this face we just described, reels in her string, just ziplining she and Ermes back to safety with this stand monster in rapid pursuit.
Yeah.
Like, its face is still got the chunks dangling off of it for the rest of their encounter, which is fun. So as they're escaping, Jolyne is thinking to herself about how, wow, this thing is so fast and so strong. It seems to violate stand rules like every other stand does.
Yeah. So yeah, they're like zipping across underwater really fast, but the stand has grabbed Jolene's ankle. And this is when Ermes is just like, hey, I put a sticker on that guy's arm, the one that's grabbing you right now. And so Jolyne just kicks the sticker off, which causes a copy of this guy's arm to appear and then slam into itself and shred its own arm off its body.
But it reforms. It reforms and sinks back down into the marsh. Meanwhile, up on solid ground, Ponytail has grabbed the guard's radio and is calling in for assistance because things have gotten bad.
Yeah.
But Ermes, she stands up. She shouts at them all, hey, join my social deduction game right now. That's the end of the episode.
Yep.
Which brings us to episode 8, Foo Fighters. We recap those final moments, and Undercut is the first one accused of being the murderer, while Ponytail and Weird Tan get asked if they remember her from the beginning. And Ponytail doesn't remember Weird Tan being there from the beginning either. Although Jolyne looks over at Ponytail's nosebleed and is like, I kicked a stand in the nose. But that's not why she's bleeding. She's bleeding because the lady with the weird tan punched her. And now everybody's attention goes to Jolyne because you're asking a lot of questions. How do we know you're not the murderer? So then Stone Free comes out and just knocks Ponytail to that. Just knocks her to the ground.
Yeah. This is the most violent werewolf game I've seen, I think.
Right?
Like, actual physical injuries involved in this.
The third rule of Fight Club is we like to play a round of the resistance, just so everybody can get the vibe of the room. So Ermes looks over at Jolyne and is like, how did you know it was her? And she didn't. Her plan is to just knock all 3 of them out.
Yeah.
She's caught in the middle of the Okuyasu Gambit. When Undercut grabs her wrist and all 3 of the nameless prisoners start talking like aliens.
Yeah, the twist here is that all of them. The answer is all of them. Jolyne punches one of them down to the ground, and then this is when all of them start oozing black goo out of their mouths and eyes, and they just start melting. Weird Tan, her jaw just falls off
as she's absorbing the other's ooze puke.
Yeah.
Because the 2 pukers were original searchers all along. If you like rewind to the beginning, you'll see like you got it right. But they died and have been replaced by the stand ooze.
Yeah.
While the weird tan one is a invented person built out of spare parts from the 2 dead guys the night
Yes.
before.
Yeah. That's how the stand has a cuff too.
And then her face splits open.
Yeah, just right down the middle to reveal an even weirder stand head inside.
Yes. So this second version of the same stand it's really like a second draft of the same design. There are a lot of small differences, like the feet are much more robotic. There's this pinch under the knee and above the calf that speaks to really like non-human anatomy, whereas the one we described previously, those are just skinny jeans. A person's legs could look like that if they wanted to.
Not these ones. Some fucked up looking legs.
But the biggest difference is it's got a very tall, thin head. Like, this is a totally non-human head.
Yeah.
And instead of human teeth, it's got little 3 fangs, 1 coming from the top and 2 from the bottom, make a little sucker mouth. The nice, friendly cinnamon bun eyes on the previous one are now just like angry, angular, yellow outlines of black, beady eyes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And also, not a normal part of its design, but when this lady's head splits in half and we see the stand head inside, it's got 2 discs sticking out of each side of its head like big Mickey Mouse ears.
Yes. It's Florida. Like, they're not that far.
Yeah.
And so the OP plays, and it is time for the stand to give us its raison d'etre. It is willing to do whatever it takes to protect the discs gifted by Whitesnake. It is the disc stash guardian.
Yeah.
Because Whitesnake gave a stand to a bunch of pond scum.
Yes.
Which gave the pond scum intelligence.
Yep.
And absolute undying loyalty for like uplifting its existence.
Yes. The stand is also the stand user, basically, because all of its intelligence and ability to become a humanoid form, it's from its own stand power.
Aside from that last part, you could say the same of Jolyne with the way her guts work when she's sending strings out.
That's true, yeah.
It's something that I find really interesting, that I really enjoy about Part 6's stands so far, is that a lot of them are really biological and like the physical and metaphysical line is much blurrier, much more complicated than stands in previous parts. But yes, this stand, who's still not named, the thing that it do is because it is plankton, it needs water, needs to be wet, loves to be wet. But because it has a job inside a shed, needs to get water. Where does it get water? It eats people.
Yeah. So Jolene's plan is like, hey, we have to kick this thing's ass and never let it get near water. And this is when the stand shouts its name. I am Foo Fighters. Or as it's localized in English, just FF.
Just FF.
That's fine, I guess.
And then it starts quoting astrophysicist Fred Hoyle.
Yeah. There was Who told
it about Fred Hoyle?
There was a lot in that memory disk.
I guess.
Does this mean Whitesnake scooped out the memory disk of a human being first and then threw it at some plankton? Because I don't think he can just make a memory disk. I think he just takes them from other people.
I don't know. Maybe some of its murder victims had library books on them. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anything can happen out there. So specifically, this stand is talking about Fred Hoyle's contention that intelligence predates life on Earth, and goes on to extrapolate the idea of an organizing principle of intelligence that is beyond anything anyone can truly understand, that even extends before the Big Bang. And hold up, let me stop you right there. Fred Hoyle did not believe the Big Bang existed. You started making up your own shit somewhere on this path. You know the story of how, like, the Big Bang Theory was named by someone who was trying to discredit it, giving it a derisive nickname in an interview?
Yeah.
That's Fred Hoyle. He named the Big Bang as a joke. That's the same guy.
All right. I did not know that.
The part that actually comes from him, he was talking about panspermia. He believed, like, if you run the numbers, organizing organic molecules in a way that becomes self-replicating, that will eventually, through, like, evolution guided by natural selection, become just the great wide world of life. But just that first step to get self-replicating parts is so unlikely that it must have started somewhere else and landed here in like organic compounds in meteor impacts or whatever.
Right. And then the stand books it.
Yeah. But Foo Fighters, of course, does make one think, hey, Rocky, there's a pretty significant Dave Grohl project you seem to have skipped when you were naming things. But more importantly, and more relevantly, I think, the name for the band, and therefore the stand, comes from, like, a term World War II pilots used to describe things they couldn't understand out the window, like, which have all been folded into UFO lore starting in the 50s and beyond.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you want to talk about alien shit, there you go, alien name, Foo Fighters.
Aliens. So yeah, right before Foo Fighters, like, books it, Foo Fighters says, "It's painfully obvious I'm more intelligent than you." Just runs away.
Foo Fighters is really concerned with everyone recognizing that it's smart and like a worthy being. Got a real complex, being living sludge and whatnot.
Yeah. So Foo Fighters is running straight towards the shed to protect the discs. And as Jolyne and Ermes try to chase after Foo Fighters, the other Foo Fighters that they were fighting earlier is still around.
And goes for the guard to steal his master like a virgin.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a smart play. You have one to go defend the discs, the other to, like, alter their safe radius so they can't even get to the discs.
Yeah.
Maybe it's right. Maybe it's really fucking smart, and you should respect this slime.
And so Jolyne runs towards the barn anyways and just says, "Ermes, you got to kick the shit out of that thing and grab the body and move it closer towards the barn before I run too far away that I explode. I trust you, bye."
And this is what sisterhood is all about. So the way she explains that is such a run-on sentence in more ways than one. There's like 8 clauses in this sentence while she's running full tilt. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm running to the storehouse. It's up to you to protect the guard and haul his body within my safety range so my cup doesn't go off and blow me up before I get there. Got no choice. Hey!
So Kiss does some ineffective punching on Foo Fighter 1 and gets its arm karate chopped off. But JoJo's trick. That was a duplicate arm, and she pulls the guard ashore while the stand is messing with her spare arm. Hurts herself badly when she unstickers and gets her arm back on her arm.
Yeah, like, I think she just says, "Oh man, this is gonna hurt like a bitch," and then rips the sticker off, and then her whole arm just starts gushing blood.
And so Foo Fighters 1 explodes into sludge and reforms on top of Ermes, choking her out with one hand.
And this first Foo Fighters, like, travels that way because, like, at first when Ermes gets away onto the shore, it looks like Foo Fighters here, like, looks like it's just mad because it just, like, slaps the surface of the water real hard, like, "Oh shucks," but it's actually to spread water further onto land.
So she's back up on land, and she kiss stickers the corpse of Undercut, and then unstickers it, so these 2 desiccated, dried out husks slam together and explode in a cloud of dust. Yeah. Which dries out Foo Fighters and is like a super effective attack, and like, aha, our enemy has an elemental weakness to dry.
Yeah, it hates ground types.
So then she kicks the first Foo Fighters to bits.
Mm-hmm.
This has given Jolyne just enough, like, radio frequency leash to reach the barn door, and she opens the door real cool.
Oh, yeah. It's the coolest way to open a door I've ever
Her
seen.
pose when this door opens around her is sick as shit.
Mm-hmm. Jolyne has some of the best JoJo poses, honestly. Like, a lot of them are in later on, but she just has a lot of great ones.
Everything about the way she moves, the way she stands, it is confidence and defiance, and it's so fun to see. So yeah, inside the tire, she can see just a big old stack of discs. But in between her and the discs is Foo Fighters 2, who punches a faucet to make a puddle. And in a puddle, it is unstoppable.
Yes. By the way, I just want to mention the sound of Foo Fighters' voice, at least for the English dub. I forget what it sounds like in Japanese, but it's like a lady doing a real deep voice, like with a filter put on top, and it's kind of funny sounding.
It's painfully obvious I'm more intelligent than you!
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
So Jolyne steps inside, unafraid of this puddle. She even steps in the puddle. And she starts asking questions, but Foo Fighters here doesn't know who Whitesnake is. Foo Fighters does not have friends, but is familiar with the concept of friends.
Yeah.
Might be friend curious.
Yeah. And so Jolyne, is trying to attack Foo Fighters and is also shooting out thread all around. There's like some real like video game boss fight design stuff going on because there's like black ooze tendrils shooting out all around the arena. It's like, ooh, don't step in that area.
Yeah. So like Jolyne is covering attacks behind attacks, but all of them are compensated for. All of them are stopped because Foo Fighters is in a big puddle and is therefore everywhere all at once. Mm-hmm. So like the feat to like do a punch rush to cover up reaching out for big sacks of flour with strings, completely ineffective, does not work.
And this is when Foo Fighters grabs Jolyne by the neck, and then its ooze crawls up Jolene's face, burrows underneath her skin, and then you can see the ooze like crawling over her eyeballs and her teeth.
Yes!
Gross as fuck.
And this is when Jolyne, while being oozed to death, informs Foo Fighters that it has already lost JoJo's trick!
JoJo's trick! There's so many JoJo's tricks in this episode.
This is when it really starts. I don't think we've had a proper JoJo's trick in part 6 until now. Yeah. And they are making up for lost time. Mm-hmm. So in that whole exchange, that is when Jolyne had time to send out secret strings unseen to start the tractor. And there's like a fun little visual of strings like cats cradling around to like turn the key and keep the steering wheel relatively straight and push down on the accelerator somehow.
Yeah, like move the stick shift.
Because the sound of the engine turning over was covered up by all of the splashing and the hose noise. You know how loud hoses are sometimes?
Extremely loud. Maybe it was like a power washer or something. I don't know.
So the tractor is just piloting itself out into the tilled field with Ermes running ahead to grab it. And Foo Fighters turns and runs after it. It's a foot race for this runaway tractor. Mm-hmm. But that ground is thirsty. It hasn't been irrigated lately. So the farmland is just eating FF.
Yeah. Like the further it runs, the like shorter it gets because its legs are just dissolving into the ground. It's great.
That thirsty soil. And so Ermes approaches and picks up a big handful of dirt ready to throw at it as a killing blow. But Jolyne says, no. This is a friend.
It's just a head on the ground now. And
yes.
It like fucking Wham in part 2 where he's just a head on the ground and Jolyne like wrings out a little cloth of water onto its head to keep it alive. Mm-hmm. And Jolene's just like, hey, this thing's really just defending its right to live. It doesn't actually care about Whitesnake. It's just the way it continues to live. So what if we are nice to it and just give it lots of treats and water.
And she even says that, like, hey, it's not human. You can't judge it by the same standards. Yeah. Morality is for humans. This thing is a space beast of sludge.
And so Jolyne kneels down and tells Foo Fighters, like, hey, I don't have any intention of taking all of these discs. I just want to get my dad's.
Like, having them protected by you against Whitesnake is way better than just, like, carrying them off into my bunk. That's fine.
Yeah. And this is when Ermes says, fuck me, this is unbelievable.
So yeah, they have a new situation with this friend who is like, hey, and maybe if we're lucky, if Whitesnake comes back here, you could be kind of a mole? Maybe? Maybe? But the search party adventure ends with a series of info boxes that break down how much of a failure this whole thing was.
Yeah.
At least from the prison's point of view.
Shaved head, no body found, black hair, dehydrated body, bullied girl, death by explosion.
Dead guard, 2 dead guys last night. We're just going to say they're dead. We never found them. So our mid-episode title card here is Foo Fighters, but all 3 forms. The little bug version, the Plankton body, the first one with the friendly face, and the tall alien head of Foo Fighters humanoid number 2, all in the same eye catch.
So Jolyne and Ermes are sorting through all of the discs. By the way, the guard isn't dead, actually. The card with all the deaths just says guard, injured.
He looks pretty fucking dead to me.
He looks really dead to me. I don't know. But yeah, the Jolyne and Ermes are sorting through all these discs that were hidden inside this tire, and there's Star Platinum.
And Jolyne grabs it, tries to put it in her head, and it ejects so hard that she gets thrown into the tractor and seems to break 3 ribs.
Yeah. Superimposed behind her, which she has this disc halfway in her head, is just Star Platinum just doing a gigantic or a punch rush. Like, I don't want to be in your brain. Get me the fuck out of here.
So they found one of the discs they were looking for, but his memories aren't here. In fact, it seems no memories are here. This is only stand discs. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, we get a visitor. Oh, you thought Atro died? Well, you're right, but we don't have to say so. Because Foo Fighters is hitching a ride inside that skin suit.
Yeah.
You know Edgar from Men in Black?
Uh-huh.
Let's do that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Everybody likes that movie.
So, yeah, when Atro appears, the 2 others immediately assume fighting stance. Like, why the fuck? What? and Foo Fighters here is just like, hey, it's just me. I'm just an ooze lady now. Check it out.
And they have filled up this corpse and are puppeting it around, and have made a new hand out of the goop. Mm-hmm. They've got an all black hand for what couldn't be reconstructed, with fingertips. They give up on this part of the disguise once the fingertips keep falling off the goo fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gross. It's so gross.
Yeah. And they're both just concerned, like, you're a different person and everyone's going to notice that you're a different person thing. And this is when FF just says, like, hey, it's all right. I still have access to all this chick's memories. Here's her prisoner number. Back when she was a child, she always dreamed of being kidnapped.
A fucking freak.
Yeah. So when she
loved the idea of kidnapping so much that when she grew up, she kidnapped a kid. Just, like, as a treat for them, as a present, because everyone loves being kidnapped, right?
Just did it on a whim. And this is when FF goes, hey, both your arms are bleeding. I wish I could heal you, but I can't. Lick! Just licking all the blood off both their arms with her really unnaturally long tongue.
They also walk up and say, oh, my new mission is to protect you. No, it is not. You just got a new we watched you get a new mission, and it was not that. It was to protect these discs from Whitesnake.
Yeah, and she gets shoved to the ground because they're both, very obviously weirded out by her licking the blood off their arms. And she falls on top of this puddle of water and just starts going to town licking that up. And they're like, you want to drink that out of a cup? And she doesn't know what cups are. And it's but they give her a cup, and it's the coolest thing ever. You can
Hell
hold so much
yes.
water in this fucking thing. You can gulp that shit down.
So actor notes for Foo Fighters here. Foo Fighters' Japanese voice. She played Stocking in Panty and.
Okay.
Also Killua in Hunter x Hunter.
Oh shit! Okay, I'm pretty familiar
And
with
she
that.
dubbed yet another of the Fury Road wives. While Foo Fighters' English voice was Ichigo in Darling in the Franxx, Hildegard in the Legend of the Galactic Heroes remake, and often works as an ADR director.
Huh? Okay.
They are married to the guy who voiced one of the unnamed dead men in the previous episode that the search party went after in the first place.
That's fun.
Oh, slurp up that blood. Yum, yum, yummy.
Yum.
So yeah, Foo Fighters here is just a gremlin, just a weird little gremlin who does not understand your Earth ways.
And Foo Fighters is mentioning this stash of discs are all of the discs that like you can put any stand disc in your head, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. Like it might just eject because you don't have the constitution for it or whatever. You got to be a big beefy guy to have Star Platinum in your brain.
There's only one guy on Earth that can handle Star Platinum. So this is the reject pile, basically.
Yeah.
All the stands that don't have a home for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm. And this is when they notice, like, ah, shit, the guards are coming.
So yeah, all the memory discs must be held somewhere else, somewhere even safer by Whitesnake, where he is surely trying to understand the great secret of Jotaro Kujo, which I have to understand is why he settled down with a lady wife.
Yeah.
Does she have gills? What do you see in this woman?
I'm pretty sure... Honestly, Jotaro seemed asexual. He seemed to have no interest whatsoever.
Much like his beloved starfish.
Yeah.
Are starfish? I don't know.
I don't know. So...
Whatever they do, it's probably fucking gross.
Yep. And this is when it's like, oh shit, the guards are coming. We have to find some way to hide the Star Platinum disc and get it inside the prison. And this is when Foo Fighters goes, that's easy. I can inflate my boobs whenever, to the cheers of millions of people on the internet.
I shall make myself biggly jiggly and slot that disc right in there.
And so she does.
Why is that? You are slime in a lady suit. Just like swallow it. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
Just eat it. It's flexible too. You can swallow that disc. Just wrap it up like a little burrito.
Shove it up your exploded wrist.
Yeah. Aside from the desire to be recognized as an intelligent being, Foo Fighters' other desire was just to have a huge rack, I think.
Relatable. So they have just enough time to square away a cover story. Basically, they heroically saved this guard from a gator. But from all I could tell, he still died anyway. I don't know.
Yes, and simply only 3 ladies were mauled and killed and dehydrated by a gator. And thankfully, the exploded one is unexploded now, so we don't have to explain an explosion away.
So sometime later, it is sundown, and Whitesnake is checking out the disc stash, and he finds them all missing. That tire is empty, and he wonders at Jolyne becoming a threat in her own right. Quote, did she defeat that incompetent guard? Well, maybe you should have got a competent one, huh? This is a you problem. You caused this.
Yeah, you fucked up. This is a hiring issue. And this is when, around the corner, the entrance of the barn, a more heavily armed guard asks, hey, father, it's getting late. We should go back to the prison. And then this is when we see Whitesnake's user, Father Poochie, the prison's priest.
Poochie. They have... Every episode, they don't even know it yet, but they have been asking, where's Poochie? So let's talk about what this dude looks like, because
Yes.
it's something.
So Father Poochie is a young, like, I don't know, mid to maybe late 20s at most, black guy with white hair that has, like, strips, shaved through it. So
He has facial hair in places facial hair does not grow.
Yeah.
He has forehead hair.
So, yeah, it's on top of just these lines shaved through his hair to kind of divide his head into different chunks of hair. Yeah, there's hair coming off of them in zigzag lightning bolt shapes down his forehead, which connect to his eyebrows.
Uh-huh.
And his sideburns also turn into like
His
zigzags.
sideburns don't follow his jaw, they
No.
follow his cheekbones.
Yeah, which then go all the way down and connect to his jaw, in which they are larger like trapezoids on his jaw.
And he's wearing something like, I don't know, a Halloween version of vestments?
Yeah. It looks like what Rohan would design if he got inspired by that time he pretended to be a priest. Just without the pen nibs. Yes, this episode ends with the camera panning up to reveal Father Poochie's face, revealing him to be Whitesnake's user, whose voice is also the exact same as Whitesnake's. They are one and the same movie. To be continued.
Well, that's how stands in their users work, yeah. Pucci's first name is Enrico, Father Enrico Pucci, the prison chaplain here. He is named for sequin-loving designer Enrico Converi and geometric print-loving designer Emilio Pucci,
Okay.
who served a couple terms in the Italian legislature.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Poochie's design should have had sequins on it. He should have been a besequined priest.
My favorite kind. His Japanese voice. Oh my, this is another one where I just couldn't narrow it down because, for one, he is in every mecha show, I swear to God.
Oh, man.
He's fucking Domon Kashu from G Gundam,
What?
but he's also in Seed and Seed Destiny. He's in Escaflowne. He's in Full Metal Panic. He's in Eva. He's in fucking everything.
Wow. This is like a prolific dude.
He also voiced Beautiful Joe
Oh, huh.
and Yoshimitsu in Tekken.
Okay.
And he is the official dub actor for James McAvoy.
This dude gets around.
While Pucci's English voice is a trilingual YouTuber with 1 million subscribers and a theater section on his resume, which I always appreciate.
That's pretty cool. Any other notable roles he's had for voice acting stuff?
No. This seems to be his debut as a major character.
Okay. Huh.
So that brings us to our last episode of the day. Episode 9, Debt Collector Marilyn Manson. So we start in confession time. Someone has come to Father Pucci to talk about her feelings. And you know what? I'm really ashamed of the compulsion I have to steal. Parole, please? Pretty please? Can I get one, please?
Please.
And so Father Pucci responds, I don't care about that. I care that dogs can read and parrots know how to make fire. What are you talking about?
He's also sucking on 2 cherries while he's doing all this. Yeah, he says all that weird, crazy bullshit and asks this lady, like, do you know the difference between animals and humans? And her response is, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
And he's like, okay. So he pulls the 2 connected cherry stems out of his mouth, and the cherry stones are still connected to the stems, but he's eaten the fleshy fruit bit and is like, hey, pretty neat trick. And she's like, okay, but the parole though? The parole maybe? Maybe?
And he just says, I'll make sure to put in a good word. And as she gets up out of the chair, her hands clasped together, like, oh, thank you, Father. He puts his hand on the back of her head and uses her momentum to just crush her skull into the side of the table.
Slams her forehead into the corner of his desk. Gush of blood because he noticed that compulsion to steal was coming out. She's been like light fingering taken one of his big gold crosses. We can't have that. But you're just the sort of person I need. Let me grab a pair of discs here. So I have a minion to make sure starplatinum.exe doesn't leave the prison.
Yeah, after he slots those discs into the back of her head, we get the intro, and it is playtime. Everyone's outside playing catch. And Ermes and Jolyne are just kind of sitting on the bench, kind of whispering to each other about their plans, what they did with the disc. Foo Fighters is hiding Star Platinum somewhere, and
Ermes doesn't think that's the right play at this time.
Yeah.
But the reason it is that Jolyne currently has no connection to the outside. So there's no one to like arrange any sort of smuggling or pickup or anything. Best to keep it close. And FF is a weird monster freak. So
At the same time, FF is like picking up a catcher's mitt, wants to play catch. She's also gulping down on water constantly.
Constantly. But they are distracted when American Giacchio, someone with the same hair swirlies
Yes.
but blonde instead of blue,
Yes.
picks up their cup and is called a fugly hoe for his trouble. Foo Fighters takes water very, very seriously.
Yeah.
So seriously, their finger opens a slit in the tip, and they shoot tiny bugs into this man's mouth. So his head swells up 5 times the size, and then he pukes rainbows into the cup.
And FF goes, yum, and chugs all that garbage down.
Chugs the rainbow puke.
FF has literal finger guns that shoot little bugs.
They're interested in trying out whatever this baseball thing is. This seems like fun. The worst throwing posture I've ever seen in my life. But what can you expect? They are pond scum with a haircut. Like,
Yeah.
perhaps literally born yesterday. Okay, I don't expect much.
So Jolyne and FF are just going back and forth throwing this baseball, and FF is pretty jazzed about the fact that they've thrown this ball back and forth 86 times without dropping it.
Jolyne here is giving pointers and playing catch and is automatically a better dad than JoJo.
Yeah. When Foo Fighters like says, "Oh man, we haven't dropped it yet," this is when the lady from the start of the episode appears and just says, "Hey, I bet that you'll drop it. I bet that you can't keep doing it."
I bet you don't make it to 100, huh? $100 says you don't make it to 100. This lady introduces herself as Mirashan. Her demeanor has changed. She seems a little harder, a little colder. I guess she's not pulling an "oh, woe is me" scam. That might be part of it, but I think she's just got that enemy stand user swagger.
Yep.
But her hair has also changed.
A literal impossibility, this hairstyle.
Yes. Yes.
So before, she just had like this purple hair that was kind of parted down the middle and, just went down the sides of her face down to about her shoulders.
And she had 3 braided bangs coming from the center of her head, like where her widow's peak would be if she had one.
Yeah.
3 tiny little like Padawan braids.
Yeah. So now she's got like 4 of those just going straight down her face. And her hair on the sides of her face are 2 long locks that are actually one that form a complete oval framing her face.
So it looks kind of like she's wearing a catcher's mask made of her own hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, Mirashan here is named for Mila Shone, the first Italian designer to show ready to wear in Japan.
Okay.
She also designed the uniforms for Air Italia, Air Iran, the Italian team at the Barcelona Olympic Games.
Okay.
Her English voice is Yuffie in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, fuck. I thought I recognized her. Yeah.
We did talk about her when she was a character in Thus Spoke Rohan.
Right, yeah.
But since then, she also landed the role of Makima in Chainsaw Man.
Oh, fuck. She's Makima. What the hell? Okay.
And she's also the main operator in 86. I don't remember if I mentioned that back then or not.
I don't remember.
While her Japanese voice dubs for Ciri in the Witcher TV series.
Okay.
And Frou Frou, the little Vol mob boss's daughter, in Zootopia.
God, I can't believe I didn't recognize her voice. I was just like, this sounds like a voice actress I've heard before, but didn't realize it was fucking Yuffie.
I have to mispronounce Yuffie on this show every time.
Right.
If I do it, if I say Yuffie enough, even while saying it right when we do Final Fantasy VII DLC videos, people will think it's a bit.
Yep. Gotta be consistent about this.
So yeah, there's a bet on the table. She flashes her wad. She's good for it. But Jolyne is like, hey, I don't fucking gamble. I don't deal with this shit.
Foo Fighters is like, that's only 13 more passes we gotta do. That's easy. And Jolyne says, not another word, you. At least in the Japanese subs, which I thought was really funny. So Jolyne's just like, hey, I can't bet anyways. I don't even have anywhere near that amount of money you're flashing, so it wouldn't even be that much of a bet for you. And Mirashone goes like, hey, it doesn't have to be money. It can be anything. Drugs, cigarettes, phone time, vibrators, anything of value will do.
Is that like sticker price on the vibrators, or is there depreciation? I mean, once you take it off the lot, it loses half its value.
Yeah.
But both the pals are into it. Even though, like, Ermes is also really into the idea of taking this bet, even though she is also like, yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is probably a white snake trap. But come on, $100 though.
Like she says, like, look at this chick. She's a stupid gambler who ruined her life.
You need the money to buy phone time to get someone to pick up this disc. Let's think about this.
Yeah. And so, Miroshon is talking to Foo Fighters, who is super up for doing this because she loves to play catch.
She just likes to play.
She just likes to throw the ball back and forth. It is like straight up in FF's lifetime. Throwing this baseball back and forth is literally the most fun she's ever had. Like, I'd be jazzed too.
So they decide to put all of their fortune in the hands of this swamp thing.
Yeah.
Who's still getting used to having elbows in the first place.
Yeah. And so the baseball comes whizzing by at like 3,000 miles an hour, right? Just barely missing Miroshon's head and flying right into FF's glove, knocking her to the ground.
Yeah. Because Jolyne is like a champion pitcher.
Yeah. And so Jolyne just says, okay, the bet's on, but I have stipulations. If you make any sounds, raise your voice, or even move from where you're standing, the bet is off.
And Foo Fighters, as this goes on, gets very upset anytime they think Miroshon is getting anywhere near their water.
Yeah. And meanwhile, like, they're still setting terms for the bet. And it's like, okay, you can't be too close to each other. It's got to be 10 meters. Also, if you hold on to the ball for too long, you lose. 3 seconds.
10 seconds, 3 meters. Yes.
Yeah. That's right. Have numbers around. Yeah.
So as this goes on, Foo Fighters lets go the worst throw I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
I've watched myself throw a baseball. It's like 45 degrees off.
It's terrible. So Jolyne has to dive for it and catch it, and she slams into the bench, but she's still got it. Be more careful with your shitty throws. And hey, they reach 100 times.
They made it. They won. They won $100. But wait. How about we sweeten the pot here? Why don't we raise to $1,000 for another 100 catches, huh? And Jolyne says, no, I am cashing out. This is stupid. And Ermes says, do it.
Do it. She is.
There is too much at stake to pass up, says the person nailed for burglary twice. I don't trust your judgment.
And so, okay, let's switch out. Let's switch FF for Ermes. They'll play catch. They're, we throw in the good pitchers now. And then, oh shit, we got less than 10 seconds to throw it, whatever. So they start the game. I was wrong. It wasn't Jolyne and Ermes. It's Ermes and Foo Fighters.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, oh shit, the game's taking
they
so long.
love to play catch. They love to play catch so much.
The sun is setting now. It's time to go to bed. And they're still playing catch, and the game isn't done yet. And so, like, this guard comes up and grabs one of them.
This guard.
Yeah.
This guard that looks like a FMV game villain.
This guy is from Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
This guy looks like the cop cousin of Sweet Tooth.
He's got discolored flesh diamonds over each eye going down his cheeks. Like, it's a design you've seen in villains and so many things, right?
I think it's the same facial features that Nazi who got killed by cactus explosion in part 2 had. Remember that guy?
Yes.
It's the same thing.
But he has very unfortunate hair curlies.
He's mostly bald. It's just hair in the sides of his heads that stick out.
He got that horseshoe hair like a bald man do, but the hair growing out from behind his ears around the base of his skull is just too long and it curls off into wisps. It's bad.
He's an awful looking man.
He's an awful looking man.
Like, I love how rare it is that a cop or a guard in this part especially looks normal. There's like 2.
If you look normal, you will be eaten by an alligator and everyone will insist you are somehow alive. I don't believe you. That's a dead man.
Yeah. FF should put all of her goo in that dead cop and then just be able to walk around everywhere. And
Yeah.
yeah. But yes, this weird twisted metal guard is grabbing one of the ladies' hands, whoever's holding the ball currently, and saying like, "Hey, fucking wrap it up! It's time. Playtime's over." And Miroshone is still counting down. Like, she doesn't give a fuck about this. Like, keep playing.
And so Hermes slips $100 to this guard to bribe them for 2 more minutes. And he's like, "Okay, all right, you got 2 minutes, but that's not enough bribe for me to let you keep your gloves." So now, so now they're playing barehanded with a total novice. In one of her catches, Hermes juggles the ball, tosses it up, misses it a second time, but there's like Schrodinger's gum. When it was her turn to start catching, she started like chewing a stick of double mint, and we see that there's a sticker on that gum. There's dupe gum, some in her mouth, some on the ball. And so she violates gravity in order to send that ball straight to her own mouth to make an impossible catch. But that's cheating. You're not allowed to do cheating because cheating summons Marilyn Manson. And that's the last thing you want in your life.
Yeah. Or as it's localized, Mary Lynn Manson. And so, Miroshone's stand...
What the fuck is this thing?
This stand materializes, and it is...
It's got a vending machine for a head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically yellow, head to toe. It's yellow with, like, orange knee and elbow guards and, like, shoulder pauldrons.
Its forehead has got a big coin slot, and its eye visor is a numerical display. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, it's got big old pauldrons. Its chest and arms, like most of it is made of what looks like shaggy carpet.
Yeah.
But beneath that, its revealed midriff is just like red cables or like bungee cord or something.
Yeah.
And instead of hands, it has prosthetic hooks.
Yeah. Yep. This stand looks kind of like I'm forgetting the name of that game. That one arcade like baseball game where it's in the future and all the players are different robots you get to pick and they can fight too. He looks like one of those. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
So Marilyn Manson appears and then lunges at Hermes.
Appears with old-timey cash register noises.
Yeah. And actually before it lunges, this is when its visor, cash total, gets rung up on its eye visor, like it's a old cash register or something, for $1,000, and it runs at Hermes and with its prosthetics fucking plunges
into her boob incisions.
Yeah.
To rip out all of her cash.
Yeah. We got some boob violence. That's a new one for JoJo.
Well, I mean, that's where Hermes keeps her teeth. So
yeah.
So yeah, there's a $590 balance remaining. So Hermes shouts sticker.
Yeah.
Does she sticker anything? No, she doesn't.
No.
Kiss will do nothing for the rest of the episode. She just says the word sticker.
And that's when, Marilyn Manson still has $590 left of debt to collect. And so it plunges its hand into Hermes's gut all the way through her back, and stuck on its little prosthetic hand is one of her organs.
It's a liver.
It's a liver.
It's a liver to cover the balance. They do a Mortal Kombat fatality with the liver.
Yep. So that settles the debt, and now Hermes doesn't have a liver anymore, and she's just kind of dealing with that fact on the ground as Foo Fighters fires off another bug round from her finger guns, blowing holes clean through the stand's head, which then just immediately reform.
Completely ineffectual. Yeah. We get our mid-episode, but with no title card. We don't get a little diagram of Stan stats or anything. So Jolyne proposes, all right, let's do 1,000 throws to settle up, huh? How's that sound? You like that? Is that a good game? You've got less than 2 minutes. That's 500 throws a minute.
Yeah.
You have to throw 8 times per second. I don't think you're going to make it. I know time can get dilated in this show, but come on now.
Yeah. And so with this new bet set, the Marilyn Manson just like sinks into the ground and like waves goodbye, kind of, as its arm descends into the ground and disappears. They've immediately figured out, hey, this is some white snake shit. There's no other way.
And Ermes is on the ground, kind of dying, like, hey, that's a stupid thing you just said. You can't do this. And Jolene's like, hey, I can't let you die for me. I got to get your parts back.
Yeah, you need that thing.
The three of them, Foo Fighters included in this conference, is like, okay, but we can't possibly do this. How are we supposed to beat up this unbeatable Stan? And Jolene's like, just gotta punch this lady until she's dead.
Yeah.
We finally got our first, like, real just get the user Stan fight.
Yep.
John Gallier kind of was, but they were dealing with Manhattan Transfer a lot.
Yeah. And so, like, their 2 minutes have passed, but they have to keep playing. So they're going back into the prison, constantly throwing the ball back and forth to each other as they traverse the prison.
Not just, like, going through the prison, but searching for Mirashan.
Yeah.
Staying at least, 9-10 feet apart, tossing the ball every 10 seconds or less. Got to follow all the rules, because you see, the way that Marilyn Manson really works is, like so many gamble stands before it knows what is truly in your heart.
Yes.
It is summoned to make a judgment when when you're being most honest with yourself, that you didn't do everything to uphold the game.
Yeah.
So that is why you can't say, yard time over, let's call it, because then Marilyn Manson's going to come for you.
It doesn't really come across at all in the English dub. But there is, like, in Mirashan's dialogue, it does pay homage to the other gamble stands, the other derbies. Because in the Japanese dub, at least, whenever the bet is set and the terms are agreed on, they say in English, okay. And she also does this when the terms are set.
Good stuff.
Yes, they're looking for her. They're in the shower room now. They're tossing it back and forth. They thought they saw her go in here. And this is when she appears from hiding behind a corner, and she turns the light off.
She kills the lights while Jolyne is already committed, like in mid-throw. So she has to let the ball go. And the thing is, Jolyne is a dangerous pitcher.
Yeah.
You know how you make sure that your person who just learned to catch today always catches the ball? You hit him square in the face. You hit him square in the face in the dark so that a pseudopod of pond sludge can come out of their eyeball.
Yes.
And really just wrap that ball up. Yeah.
By the way, when Foo Fighters gets hit in the head by the ball, it leaves a dent in her skull, which I don't know if Jolyne really just throws that hard or if it's also because
she throws that hard.
That's what I choose to believe, but also that's a dead body with goo in it. Maybe it's a little soft now. Might be a little soft.
So with 10 seconds, back on the shot clock, Foo Fighters takes a moment to just blind fire into the dark in the direction of the sound of the light switch, and it hits Mirashan, who then bumps back into the switches, re-illuminating the room. Hooray. So they're following, just like leapfrogging as they play catch, but lockdown approaches, bedtime coming.
Yeah.
You can't throw from a closed cell to a closed cell. It doesn't work.
So they continue to chase after her. Jolyne catches up with her and uses Stone Free to clock her right on the jaw real hard.
In the common area around the staging for, like, the food carts that go to the cells, because I guess some meals are done by delivery. Something about the Seven Wonders. Who knows?
Yeah. Mirashan's, like, cornered now and saying, like, okay, fine, take all the money and the liver. It's all yours. Stop punching me.
Please stop punching me. What do I have to do to get you to stop punching me? And Jolene's like, answer my questions. Also the liver, I guess. But Mirashon doesn't know what the hell a white snake is.
Yeah.
You know what she does know? She does know she is standing inside the big elevator that takes that food cart up to the higher levels of the prison. So she pushes a button, which closes the fence and the doors, and she and Jolyne start going up, while Foo Fighters is left down below, which makes throwing a baseball really hard.
Yeah. FF just has to sprint up the stairs to the second.
Well, first they shove their goo into
Yes.
the door to force it open.
Yeah, so that there's enough time for her to toss the ball up the moving elevator before it's too late.
And then they run up the stairs to
Yeah.
accept it once they're back on the upper level.
Yeah.
But she doesn't catch it. Instead, it is interrupted by our newest, most unfortunate looking guard.
Yep. Fucking sweet tooth motherfucker, who catches the ball and just tucks it away in his pocket and just leaves.
And says, "Hey, Mirashon, this is what you bribed me to do, right? I did a good job, okay? Okay, bye."
Bye. Yes, the game of catch is over. They have failed. Marilyn Manson appears and punches clean through Jolene's gut.
In order to go shopping for $1,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah. And, there's such a gross looking shot here because Mirashon says, "Hey, I'm going to root around and find the, your most expensive organ." And you just see the Marilyn Manson's stand arm, like elbow deep in Jolyne, just like rustling around in there. And like her skin is getting all moved around from it where the arm hole is. Oh, it's gross.
It's super gross. It's super gross. But that's not going to make up the whole $1,000. In order to cap it off, you're going to need to throw in the Star Platinum disc.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think for the right buyer, Star Platinum alone is worth way more than $1,000. We don't need to bring organs into this.
Yeah, it's one of the most powerful stands in the world.
If you take Star Platinum to Antiques Roadshow, they are going to appraise it at least $12,000, I would say.
Yeah.
The problem is finding a buyer that it won't murder upon violent rejection.
Yeah. But yeah, Marilyn Manson's looking around for the stand disc and realizes, oh, wait a minute, it's not inside Jolyne, it's inside Foo Fighters. So the arm pops up out of the ground.
There's this little shot that just turns their overall back transparent. And you can see these tiny baby arms of the goo sludge pressing the disc against Foo Fighters' back.
Yeah.
It's very cute. It's very
really
silly.
Cute. Mirashon is just cackling yes, I've won. I got your organ. She never says what it is, but also I got the disc. And this is when...
What do you think is the most expensive organ?
Heart?
You'd think, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the headliners as far as organs go.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's supply and demand, right? What's got the longest waiting list, I guess, is what the most expensive organ would be.
I still feel like that could be the heart.
It's, yeah.
And then right as Mirashon here is gloating that she's won, she gets a baseball to the face, and a bunch of her teeth get knocked out.
Game's still on, motherfucker! See what happened? What happened was... some finger strings came out, and Stone Free pickpocketed the guard. Mm-hmm. Then the little strings tore open the seams on the baseball to take off the skin, so that the ball was small enough to come through the chain link fences, because it's that sort of industrial elevator, right? Where the fence comes down and opens again. Took off the skin to reduce the diameter of the ball, and then it got restitched together with Stone Free string, so that it's still a game legal ball. And in all of the stipulations, nobody said that it had to be the same person playing catch with Jolyne the whole time. Only that Jolyne would play catch with someone for 1,000 throws. Mm-hmm. Maybe she could have said that before she got a stand rooting around in all of her guts. She could have just said that guy's still a legal player.
Jolyne let that happen because she already had thought this incredible way to own somebody, and she really wanted to go through with it. Because yes, how many throws and catches were still left in the game because it's still going. 800, 900, don't remember. Let's go up to 1,000 anyways, just to make sure.
Let's just start over clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she throws 500 beanballs straight in the face, bloodying and destroying Mirashan's poor bones, all of those bones.
Yeah. And the baseball is still attached by a thread, so she's kind of just retracting it and throwing it back mega fast.
Playing paddleball, basically.
Yeah. The final throw of the baseball, when it hits her in the face, her nose isn't there anymore. Her face is concave.
And the best part is, the most demoralizing thing is, as Mirashan is being just being beat to shit by a game, her stand is just somewhere in the ether thinking, this is legal. This is okay. I approve of this.
And so Mirashan goes out like an enemy in Yakuza, because when she's defeated, tons of dollar bills scatter into the air, and it's raining $20 bills.
And then her discs eject.
Yeah. And also everyone's organs came back, by the way.
Yay, organs.
Yay, organs.
I love organs. I love to have them. I love to hold them. Christmas morning as a kid, I'd go down under the tree and find all the new organs.
Oh, man. So
Those were the
plentiful.
days.
I'll be so full of organs.
Now I got to get my own. Oof.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of Black Friday, is the line for the good organs.
For me, it was kind of the same thing. As a kid, it was the same thing as getting socks or clothes, where I was just man, I want toys. But now I'm thankful for getting organs on Christmas.
As long as they're the right size.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do anything with a big organ.
But yeah, that's it. That's the end. Everybody's hunky-dory, and now we have assembled the trio. Mm-hmm. It took 8 episodes, but we finally got the central cast, as far as I know it.
Mm-hmm. I really like the twist of one of the new allies just being not human at all. Mm-hmm. I just love them beating up Stan and going want to be friends? like even more than that already happens, in part 4, where everyone beaten up becomes nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hey, colony of Plankton, do you want to play catch? Do you know what that is?
I don't know, but I do want to, and it will become my life. Yes. Get your hands off my cup. Motherfucker. No, they are great. They are so cool. I do enjoy noticing that as soon as Foo Fighters takes over this corpse, it goes from an it to a they. There is an immediate and constant pronoun shift in that moment.
Yes.
Once they start piloting Atro, the late Atro.
And yeah, if there's one character archetype that works on me a whole lot, it's the weird gremlin character. It's always just very enjoyable to have the weird freak of the group who's extremely likable for being how weird they are. I
like that. I mean, obviously they're not very good at being human yet, but I like that they're not really trying to be.
Yeah, they're just having fun, really. They like drinking water out of big cups. They like their big gulp. And they like throwing the ball back and forth.
I mean, everything they've done so far in human life, 2 thumbs up. Have enjoyed every single part of being a person so far.
Yeah.
It's 2 things, but it's 2 very good things.
And yeah, it's this stand is kind of a retread of the gambling stand, but it's pretty fun, more just because of the format of the game they're playing. Trying to figure out how to play extreme catch. Man, I cannot believe we only have 3 more episodes left before we're already at our first recap.
Now imagine watching 3 episodes and waiting 9 months.
Yep. That sucked. That really sucked.
But we won't have to do that, and you, the listener, won't have to do that at all.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll only have to wait 1 week for us to talk about episodes 10 through 12, Operation Savage Garden Head to the Courtyard 1 and 2, and episode 12, Torrential Downpour Warning.
Oh, man. I'm excited for these 3 episodes. They get pretty wild.
It is, you were talking about it previously, but... Jolyne is so assertive and in control and just in the driver's seat for everything.
Yes.
To a degree that hasn't been true in any previous part, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Because our two Hamon boys were both kind of being led around by their teachers, by their mentors.
Mm-hmm.
While Jotaro was definitely first among the team, he was really in the team.
Yeah.
Jolyne is just like the instigator of pretty much everything.
Yeah, like she immediately took charge and is still like the very clear leader of everything. God, yeah, none of the other JoJos are like that.
When Ermes gets a fight after, like, she joins the crew, it's because Jolyne told her to go do a fight.
Yeah, yeah. It feels very refreshing after, you know, all the other JoJos either being part of a team or, you know, having some other sort of authority character, you know, leading them on like Lisa did. And I don't know, there's just something really nice about Jolene's character and how much you can also tell she just does not take shit from people.
She doesn't gamble.
Yeah.
Everyone around her wants her to gamble so bad, though.
Yeah, fucking no.
So, okay. After all of this, our trio is, what, $1,200 richer. Ermes is still on a $5,000 treasure hunt. They should be running this prison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, especially with your invisible punch ghosts and not too many other prisoners having invisible punch ghosts, you should be able to take over this place pretty easy.
You don't even have to use your stand. Just, like, try to shove Star Platinum into people until they die.
Yeah.
Until they like have a stroke from having the Star Platinum disc get rejected so hard.
Just start throwing it like a frisbee at people's... Does it even really have to go in their head? Can it just any part of their body? Can you just throw Star Platinum at it and they just fucking explode? This is a very powerful item they have.
They'll just start spitting up blood like they got punched in the Matrix.
Yeah. God, when I first watched that part, though, and she put Star Platinum in her head, I was just like, oh, man, is somebody finally going to have straight up two stands in their body?
Hell yes.
Like, can she just pop out? No. And it's probably better for not giving her Star Platinum on top of her own stand, but it would have been cool.
She's just got to get one of those, like, zipper folders full of for CDs, but it's all the, like, dozen stands that she can hot swap.
Yeah.
She's got to get a disc changer installed in her brain.
Can you put the stand discs on shuffle? Can you just every few hours just have a different stand?
I think that's just what Ben 10 is. I don't know. I never watched it.
Oh, kind of. I kind of, yeah.
But yes, we are going to be back next week, Boxing Day.
Ooh.
With the last 3 episodes of the first Netflix drop. Learning about Savage Garden and Torrential Downpour Warning. Mm-hmm. While I'm talking about the future, I should say this is our last recording before Gextra Life 4. So once again, I'm sure we are about to have a great time, and you, the listener, will already be aware of how great a time we will have had. But you can go check out Gextra, that's GEXTRA.life, for the donation page for any last-minute donations, all going to Hurley Children's Hospital in Flint, Michigan. Hopefully by the time this goes up, the YouTube mirrors will have started for the archive, and you can check those out as well. Yeah.
I picked some real stinkers this time. Like,
oh boy.
They're all interesting, at least. Except maybe for Gilligan's Island. I'm not sure about that game. That might just be a stinker. I wasn't sure I wanted to pick that one because it just looked miserable, but I was just like, no, but Gex, that's absolutely within the era of TV shows that Gex is constantly referencing, so I gotta have...
There's definitely some Gilligan's Island lines in at least one of those games.
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, I had to pick it. But yeah, until then, see you later.
To be continued.